The next piece I'll be talking about is the obelisk at the Vatican. We're gonna be doing this in the dark, I guess. The city and country of work is for sure Egypt, and it's probably quarried in the Heliopolis, but was erected most likely in Alexandria, or at least it's first documented that it was erected in Alexandria. The specific location of the work now is in St. Peter's Square in the Vatican City. For the artist, little is known because there's no engravings or hieroglyphs on it that would tell us. But so we don't know which pharaoh even ordered its construction, really. The medium work is red granite. The period of work is Egyptian. And the historical relevance is that displayed the way in which Egyptian culture had become fashionable in the Roman period, especially in Italy. And how long it took to create is unknown, but the only timeline information that we're really sure of is that it was erected by Augustus between 328 BC and brought to Rome in 37 AD. This work is important because one, it was a funerary monument of Julius Caesar, and it was a symbol of the reach of the Roman Empire, as well as its relationship with Egypt and Northern Africa. The defining characteristics that it's the largest non-inscribed obelisk to leave Egypt at 25.5 meters high and weighing an estimated 326 tons. From the center of the it's in the very center of all the surrounding buildings in the square. It reaches all the way up to the sky and is adorned with 4 lions near the base and a cross done by Prospero and Antichi much later on. I think, if I remember, I didn't write this down, but I think it was in the 1500s, like late 1500s. I could be wrong, but I think that's what I looked up. My personal observation is that the copper, this is so American, but the copper is like turned green and it kind of looks like Statue of Liberty. Super American, but yeah, that was an observation I made. I chose this work because it just kind of seemed like an odd place to have Egyptian art if you don't know the history and the reasoning behind it, because everything's looks very European, and then there's just this granite obelisk in the middle of it. Looks a little bit crazy. How does it compare to other works? It's one of the 13 Egyptian obelisks to be brought to Rome. The Vatican obelisk is the only ancient obelisk in Rome to have remained standing since Roman times, which is really cool. And also I mentioned earlier that the lack of engraving on it, which obviously is not normal. Normally there's hieroglyphs and it tells some type of story or gives some type of information. There's no inscription on this one, and yeah, it's really cool, I guess. So that's kind of how it differs. And fun facts, at least one legend has it that the original metal globe that was once at the top where the cross is now held the ashes of Julius Caesar. It wasn't just funerary, held his ashes. And during the reciting of the obelisk, the globe was opened and found to be empty. So they were lied to.